Hey, what's the deal, Cowboys Nation? It's basically what I'm gonna do in this video, man. I'm just gonna break down some things that surprised me in the first four games of the season, and some also disappointments, and then maybe some even kill type of situations that we got. So first, man, Curse is balling, man. Like I think what we're so happy about and intrigued with Curse is the fact that he takes like the perfect angles when he's coming down and he's attacking the run game on the opposing team. It's perfect because like I'm not gonna say he makes every tackle, but it looks so good. Like every time that he's making a tackle, you're so used to him making perfect angles or taking perfect angles that you just say he takes them every time. But it's something that we haven't seen, man. It's like in the past, man, we're the linebackers miss tackles or they take poor angles, and then it was like our linebackers were our safeties, because once the linebackers missed the tackle, they're off for 20, 30 yards. And it was very depressing, disappointing as a Cowboys fan when you didn't see that type of attitude and assertiveness on the defensive end, especially coming from the safeties. And it's not just Curse, man. I feel like all the safeties are playing with that type of aggression. KZ and even Hooker, and we're still missing Wilson. But I just think just the overall impact that the safety position is giving our defense, man, it's just making our defense play at the extreme level. Because, like I said, man, in the previous video, we have good players, and then we have solid depth behind those starters. And I think, man, it just doesn't look like this is something that's temporary. It looks like this attitude and this newfound attitude and assertiveness and grit, it seems like it's permanent. It's instilled. It's not going nowhere. And the next thing is just the coaching, and that translates over to how well the defense is playing when you look at Dan Quinn. And it's just like I said, it's like everything I said about the safeties and the backups. You can say those same type of adjectives can be used for the other positions on defense, the defensive line, defensive end, the tackle, linebacker. They're all playing with that same attitude, and that's how you know it's contagious, and that's how you know it's coming from Dan Quinn. It's not one or two players that's just playing like this. But when you look at just the intensity, and then even on the offensive end, just the new schemes, man. You saying McGovern playing fullback, and then he's in some packages he's the third tight end blocking. And with that game against the Panthers, when we got that first down and Zeke hit that option to Tony Pollard, and Tony Pollard, it's a great segue because the way we're using Tony Pollard this year is very, very surprising, man. It would be games last year where he'll have 100 yards on the ground, or maybe 150 total with 50 receiving yards and things of that nature, and then you won't see him for like 3 more weeks. And it's like, yo, what are we doing? He's somebody that should be playing on the field every Sunday, every game day. He should be getting at least 8 to 10 carries, sometimes more depending on the game flow and everything. But just the way he's a part of the game plan, man, you're happy to see it, because that's a talent, and he's not as I don't think he's better than Zeke as far as setting up blocks and being patient. But when he hits that hole, man, he hits that hole so fast, and it's like he's 0 to 60 real quick. Like, he doesn't have a problem switching these gears and getting to the second level. And he can, and some of these blocks that he's getting, man, are great blocks. So that just breaks it all down to just the offensive line when I say coaching, because even with Collins not playing, and then some games where Biotis and Connor Williams aren't playing to their level, because I think they're solid players. I'm not going to sit up there and say they're the best in the league or the best in our division or anything like that. But I feel like they're comparable and they're starters. Some people don't believe that, but I think when you get them playing and they're getting in the flow, and they're making these great blocks, and then you have someone like Zeke and CP that's taking advantage of them, they start to get confident. They start to get in that role. But another thing I want to discuss, man, is it me or is it just like, do we have an actual home field advantage now? Like, I don't know. It just seems like a lot of these teams used to come to our stadium and it's like they get comfortable. They got the massage chairs and it's not too hot, too cold. They got the smoothies. It just seemed like it's too relaxed, man. It just seemed like the team. It was like the Clippers and the Lakers home games. When it's like that's the vibe I was getting. But I feel like now, something happened, man, with the culture, and it seems like the fans down there in Dallas, man, they're hype. They're making this stadium very difficult to hear. A lot of communication errors, or because of not the defense, but our crowd. I'm not saying it's like the 12th man on that level, but it's way more loud. It's way more exciting. I can definitely tell that it was definitely preached. Like, something changed with these fans, and I think we need to keep that going. That way we can take advantage of these situations. And those communications errors and things like that, they don't have to be like a rare occurrence. We can get that every week. And also, like I said about the offensive line, I want to touch on Steele. Like this, I am extremely surprised based off of just the way he's playing. You can definitely tell he studied in the off season, and he put that work in, and he's becoming more comfortable at that position. And he's making, even though we all miss Collins and we know what he brings to the table, but he's making these 5 games that he's missing. It's not the worst thing that can happen, and he's making some plays. And he did this. He held up on Bosa, and a lot of those times, man, it wasn't like he was always getting double teams or chips from the tight end or running back. He was doing his thing, man. I think this is his fundamentals, his hand placement, his footwork. Everything is just coming together for him, and I'm extremely happy for him, man. That way, we don't have to keep bashing him and making him seem like he's the worst player ever, man. He put that work in, man. I'm happy for him. Another thing I'm happy about, man, the punter, man, Brian Anger. This dude, man, it's night and day from what we got from him and Chris Jones. Chris Jones had like one solid year where a lot of us were happy with his performance, but ever since then, man, it just seemed like, what are we doing, man? He just had like some of the worst punts I've ever seen in my life. And I think the net yards that from Brian Anger, I think he's like top 5 in that category, man. So I'm definitely shout outs to him, because that's a huge difference. And then when you're getting people down there and they're getting fair catches, we're pinning them people inside the 10-15 yard line, man. That's a huge setback for those offenses, man. So shout outs to him. And then it's weird where you look at the offensive targets, man. When you look at Coop and CeeDee Lamb, I know Gallup's out with the injury, but if you look at the total targets between Coop and Gallup, or not Gallup, but Coop and Lamb, you can't help to be. You would think that we would be losing or struggling, man, but we're winning and we're dominating, and that's how its offense is predicated, man. It's so many people that can slice you up and dice you up that you can go ahead and try to double. You can go ahead and try to double a receiver, and Cedric Wilson to get you, or Schultz to get you, or TP. It's ridiculous, man. And I think That's a testament to just the group, and then just the love that they're shedding out to all the players, and that's a testament to coaching with Kellen Moore, man. He's definitely using all his weapons at his disposal, man, and it makes us happy as Cowboys fans, man. So definitely shout outs to all those surprising features so far early in the season. And the disappointments, man, it's not really disappointments, but it's just more about what we expected. And the first thing I wanted to say is I don't want to bash Randy Gregory. This isn't really that type of thing. But prior to this game against the Panthers, he had 0 sacks. So if you would have told me back in August and July that in the first 3 games Randy Gregory wouldn't have had a sack, I wouldn't have believed you. I'm like, man, you crazy. But then you have to go ahead and remember and look at the fact that he's been getting held every quarter. It seems like, man, these dudes can't block him. And if you don't got a running back chipping and helping with the double team, he's gonna get some pressure. So he's getting the hurries, man. He's getting a couple hits, but he finally got the 2 sacks on Sam Darnold, and I think that's gonna just carry over to next week because he's smelling blood now. Once you get that first bite, man, he's hungry, and he's not, like I said, it wasn't like he wasn't getting close. He was getting held up a lot of times, and then certain quarterbacks, man, they're designed to get the ball out real quick because they know that pressure that we can bring. And then this is the last thing I want to touch on as far as I am actually disappointed as far as with the return game on punts and kicks. I feel like it's not really like a weapon. It's not something that we're taking advantage of. And I'm pretty sure, with the rule changes and everything, that can play a part. But I just feel like it's a lot of fair catches, or even when it's not a fair catch, we may be getting 7 yards return and things of that nature, man. So I definitely, if it's some things that we can improve on, I definitely think it's the return game, especially on punts. And a lot of people want to be down on McCarthy, man. It's a little sad because I don't think though a lot of those situations I do. All right, so let me say this. As far as with the Chargers game, I feel like that was real big, but then some people want to talk about the 2-point conversion and then how he handled some management when the Panthers games. I don't think those were really big deals as far as the Chargers game, the Chargers gaff, or even like the halftime situation as well. So like I said, man, it's luckily that halftime management issue didn't really bite us in the long run. But I'm high on McCarthy because I think the culture and the winning culture that we have now, I think it's coming from him, because if you look at it, man, he's been winning winning like his whole time as a head coach. Before last year and his time with the Packers, he was used to going to the playoffs year after year after year and getting wins and getting deep, going to the NFC Championship when he got a Super Bowl. So I think he plays a part in that culture, that winning culture that we're trying to develop, man, on a every week basis. And then as far as like the even kill, leveling out, I believe Anthony Brown started off like very horrible. Oh man, like he made a lot of us, a little sick. But I think these last 2 games, man, he played very, very well, to where you can see that he's getting that confidence. Like I said, even with that interception, it's the same thing I said about Gregory, man. Once you start making big plays, man, and you get them numbers on your stat sheet, it starts to carry over to the next game. And I feel like that Chargers game, he played very well, and then that carried over to the game against the Panthers. And there's weapons on every team. There's guys that they're like the best on that team, so it's going to be hard to stop certain players every play. But I think for the most part he held up, and I think he's going to keep getting better. Of course I want to see other corners get in as well. But I think, man, we can give him a break. We don't have to bash his head in like we did the first weeks. the first 2 weeks, man. So I think shout outs to AB, man, and hopefully we continue to thrive and everyone gets better. That's all I really had to touch on. If you have any surprise players or disappointed players or players that started off bad and now they leveled up and they're playing to their potential, or even the opposite, they started off very well and then the last couple games, they haven't been doing so hot, go ahead and drop them in the comments, man. We can go and get this thing started, man. Thank y'all for tuning in, man. Y'all have a good one. Peace.